Hello, everybody, and welcome tonight to Bristol Motor Speedway here in the Original Rebels Racing League. Warren's Driver Training 200 in the Xtreme Xfinity Series tonight. My name is Zach Wetzstein. I'm joined by Tanner Maher. How are you doing tonight, Tanner?
Doing good, Zach. Ready to see these boys do battle for 200 laps around Bristol Motor Speedway. It's a tough track, and tempers are known to fly here.
Absolutely. I think the main thing to look at here is going to be how tough it is to pass on the bottom. You know, that middle to high lane is the primary lane, and passing on the bottom, it doesn't matter how fast you are, who you are. That bottom line is just so tough to pass on. So, going to be fun tonight and entertaining to try to see these drivers try to make the passes on the inside line, because you know that the person that's being passed is not going to give up that high line.
Oh, absolutely not. And that's one thing that I like, but also dislike about Bristol. I mean, you watch some old replays of this race back in the day, and it was just a bottom lane track, and that's when you saw the moves like the bump and run and stuff like that. But nowadays, you get so much momentum on the high lane on exit that if you go down to the bottom, you're leaving so much more speed on the table. So you just got to work your way up there, and it gets hairy running the wall. A lot of people don't like running the wall.
Yeah, and I think they maybe messed up on the qualifying tonight, because it's open qualifying, and I think it's the worst track possible that could have happened at. As you see, there are a bunch of cars on track, and this is qualifying.
Absolutely. So I kept on clicking the live button, not knowing what was going on. So yeah, this would be one of the worst tracks to do open qualifying at, without a doubt.
Tia Swank, you see there on screen, he has the pole spot so far. Going to see if he can keep it. He has 15.256 down. Jason Warren in second. Clinton Reist is going to take that pole spot. See how much time we have left if I can find that. 2 minutes and 18 seconds left. So,
You know, Zach, I know it's a lot going on at once, but I kind of like this open qualifying format like this.
it's a little tough to zone in on just one driver, but other than that, yeah.
And as a driver, it would be tough right now because, I mean, you're just used to going out there and putting down your two fastest laps, but like the same rules from solo qualifying applies to open qualifying. If you hit the wall or anything, it's not going to count your lap. If you hit another car, it's not going to count your lap. So you got to stay clean and try to put down the fastest lap possible.
Joshua Sexton up to fifth fastest right now. He has some clean track, thankfully, so he's able to put down a decent time. Starting to see other drivers put their times down. Here's Patrick Trebick. He's up to ninth.
Yeah, Patrick Trebick, that's a guy you always got to watch, whether you're on a mile and a half plate track or one of these short tracks like this. He always seems like, no matter what, he finds his machine up front when it starts to count towards the end of the race.
Joshua Sexton was fastest during practice, but he's second fast. Well, third fastest now as Jason Warren takes that second spot away, but Clint Reist still occupies that top point up in the first position right now. He's barely in that spot, but he is in that number one position.
And Zach, something that I kind of noticed right here, there's not very many drivers that's actually getting better than what their practice time was. So either that is the open qualifying format may be hurting them, or they just can't replicate the practice. But there's just a very few drivers that's actually gotten a little bit quicker than their practice time, where sometimes a lot of drivers, they don't go out there and really try to set qualifying laps during practice. They just work on their race pace and whatnot and see what the car's going to be like on the long run.
Garrett Kinder, he's third fastest there, and Clint Reist back out on track just to, I guess, try to protect that pole spot. But with only 6 seconds, it looks pretty good that he'll keep that spot. Jason Warren, the only person who can take that from him, I believe, is everybody. Well, there's other people on track, but Jason Warren, and he might touch the wall there. William Griffith, he's putting a lap down. Kiernan Church as well. Jamie Barkus, but just not enough time as we are wrapping up qualifying here.
You know, Zach, there's a lot of cars out here tonight. When you come to Bristol, you know lap traffic's going to play a role anyways, but we're sitting at about 27 cars right now, so you know it's going to definitely come into effect pretty quick in this race.
Yeah, it's all about getting those green flag laps. I think that's just really the most important thing to getting to lap traffic is getting at least 5 to 10 laps, because it is a small track, and you're right, we will see lap traffic very quick, but if you can't get more than 5 to 10 laps together to get up to pace, and you kind of see the difference between the leaders and the back end of the group, then we won't see it as much. But when we do get that lap traffic, that is going to really spice this race up, because you can be a lot faster in the lead. You can be a half a second ahead of second place, and then lap traffic is racing right in front of you, and all of a sudden that second place car is right behind you.
You're exactly right. I mean, you just look up and boom, they're already there, right on you. So you just got to manage traffic tonight, and you got to try to manage your tires. It's just going to be a battle of attrition tonight.
Okay, just checking out our pit lane cameras here. And we'll pull up your grid. I actually forgot to do that. Clint Reese with the pole spot with 15.220. Jason Warren in second on his outside. Garrett Kinder qualifies third. Fourth, Joshua Sexton. Tia Swank qualifies fifth. William Griffith on his outside in sixth. Mike Hornbeck seventh. Eighth is Kieran Church. Jamie Barkus ninth. Patrick Trubick rounds out the top 10. Two teammates starting next to each other there at Jam Cook Racing. Jesse Necula behind them in 11th, with to his outside 12th, Jeff Paisley. Qualified 13th, Josh Lokenvents with Scotty Stevens in 14th. 15th, Ray Page and Justin Hendry qualifying 16th. Mickey Isaac 17th with Sam Wetstein on his outside qualifying 18th. 19th and 20th is Josh Hall and Josh Oswald. Tyler Rice 21st, Rich Yeoman 22nd. 23rd, Kyle Roberts, Chuck Feltz 24th. 25th, Brandon Wallace with Micah Rebay on his outside, and running out the field, Eric Santee. I'll just take a quick second because Logan wanted me to say this, but tonight is called the Warren's Driver Training 200. The last time we ran here at Bristol Motor Speedway in this Xfinity series, Jason Warren unfortunately just turned it right into the wall on lap 1 and wrecked like half the field. Warren, if you watch this over, wasn't my idea to say that, so please don't come into the channel after the race and hate on me. But I thought I'd shout that out for a specific person that wanted me to.
And Zach, what's the name of this race called again?
Oh man, I don't know if I want to say it again.
Jason's a good dude, man. He's a really fast driver and has a lot of buddies in here because he is a good guy. So we got to poke the bear every now and then.
And man, I really think that just shows how tough Bristol is that even a driver like him can make a mistake, spin the tires on lap 1. So Bristol's just, they talk about how tough it is to tame this kind of track. And I mean, it shows. Jason Warren fast every single week, and even he can make mistakes here.
It's such a tough track, and I know they call it the Darlington Stripe at Darlington, but them running the highline tonight as we're about to go green, there's going to be some stripes on the side of these cars tonight too.
Absolutely. The green flag is out, and Jason Warren this race gets a nice jump on the outside. That inside might be the preferred line on restarts. Nope, Jason Warren going to get a really nice run off, and he's going to take the lead on lap 1 as Clint Reese going to have to settle in behind him in second. A lot of battling going on in the middle of the field, though.
You just got to fight for every position you can because, like we've talked about, 27 cars out here. It's Bristol. It's a short track. Mistakes will happen tonight, so anytime you can gain any position, it's definitely well worth it.
Your points leader, Patrick Jurbick. He's up to that. So, and spinning is William Griffith. That's going to be our first caution of the night.
It looked as if he was saving it, and then I don't know, did he get contact behind Zach?
I think he saved it at least down to the apron, but I'm not sure if he had any contact to help him out. I think he hit he got loose into the turn. We'll check this out. I don't think he really had any help here. We'll find out though. Gets into the turn and he saves it, and then it goes around a second time.
That's a weird place to get loose at, to break loose by yourself like that on entry. So that shows that these cars tonight are on edge. If you're breaking loose on entry like that, you're riding that fine edge.
Oh, yeah, he turned the wheel pretty hard to the left and then probably used a bit of brake, and that kind of got that thing really loose in the middle of the turn.
Speaking with the drivers, Zach, I spoke with some of them before qualifying started, and they actually were hinting at that the setup actually got a little bit tight as the run went on, and I even heard that maybe the high lane would actually end up falling off because it is so tight on exit. But that didn't look tight to me right then, but that's lap 2 or 3 whenever it happened also.
Yeah, I think the middle lane, you might see these drivers use that high lane, but I really think that middle to high lane is going to be eventually the preferred line. I don't think the bottom will ever, and unless they change Bristol again, I don't think that bottom. I don't care how tight the setup is. I don't think that bottom will ever be the preferred line in any race that you watch. But I think that middle, right in between, is going to be where you're going to see these drivers go to as the setup tightens. But yeah, I mean, we saw early on they were pretty close to that wall. We'll see if eventually they migrate down. As yeah, we are only 6 laps in, and by the time we get to a lap 100, we could see a completely different race.
Yeah, I'm with you. When I heard that, I didn't know really, because normally I go out here and turn laps, but I got in here late tonight, didn't get to really feel the set out, see what they're working with. But when I think of Bristol, I think right up next to the wall or in the middle, like you stated.
Yeah, when you're tight, it's so tough. That's why when you see these drivers at Homestead, Miami, Kansas, Bristol, you got to be loose to stay next to that wall, because if you're tight on entry, you're just going to have to slow down too much to stay next to that wall without hitting it, and you can't enter next to it. So if these cars were looser, and they're loose right now, it looks like, but if they do get tight over the longer run, I definitely think that middle line is going to be the expected line, because it's a little bit further away from that wall, and you're able to enter a little bit harder without being so close to the wall.
As we've seen right there, Jason Warren, he actually started on the bottom, but he got such a good launch with Garrett Kinder actually fired off really fast behind him. But Clint Reese in that 2 machine on the outside, I mean, Garrett was clear for just a split second, but that outside lane prevailed with just so much momentum on exit.
Yeah, that high line, you kind of hit it spot on with the momentum that they get out of the turns. Just is so much better than the line or the run that you get off of the turn on the bottom line, just because when you have a driver to your outside, and this this works at any track when you talk about it, but when you're on that low line and you don't have as much room to come up when you're coming off the turn, and when you use the bottom at tracks like this, you need to have every bit of room up top in order to maximize your exit speed. And so when you have somebody to your outside, you're just not able to do that, and that's why the high line eventually prevails, and they're able to pass you when you're racing for position.
You're exactly right. As I'm just looking through the field right now, just trying to get a glimpse of everything going on. You see some drivers that are running the low line, but they just can't make nothing stick down there because, Bristol, it's known as a short track, but it's not a very wide track either. As we actually got a pile-up in the back with Tyler Rice and William Griffith. There was another car involved too, but I wasn't able to catch it.
Looks like 81 of Josh Hall. No, he just stopped. He didn't make any contact. Let's see here. Looks like the 25 of Rich Yeoman might have made some contact. Yep, to that left rear. William Griffith spins around. Josh Hall makes it through there.
Sadly, just nowhere to go for them guys behind him. It actually, Tyler Rice got help right then, but it looked like he got into the wall before he entered into the corner, which then slowed him down a little bit to allow that car behind him to get into him.
Yeah, sorry, there's Josh Hall's the 08 one, but he's shown as the 8-1. The 81 of Eric Santee was the one who made it through right behind that wreck, and Josh Hall was checked up, but he didn't make any contact. He just had to slow down, so that he does a really nice job at not locking up the brakes, but hitting the brakes enough to where he doesn't run into the car. That can be kind of hard to do here at Bristol. Speaking
about locking up the brakes, Zach, I know you're pretty smart when it comes to understanding the tires, I mean, we got 4 sets here tonight, and you know the fuel pretty well. Do you know what the pit window and stuff is here for tonight?
So I'm believing it's about 150 if you were to go green that long. But I'm thinking if you can make it to halfway without pitting, obviously if you have to pit for damage, pit for damage. But you see all these guys staying out here up front. If you can stay out till lap 100 at least, so you can make it to halfway and then pit, and then just have to get tires the rest of the way, I think that'll work fuel-wise. Tire-wise, I think that as long as you're not getting these long runs and we keep getting these short cautions, there's absolutely no reason for many of these drivers to pit, just because track position is so key, because that bottom is so hard to pass with. So unless we get longer green flag runs that are causing you to need tires more, definitely I would stay out if I'm kind of middle to front. Maybe if you're in the back of the pack, but you don't want to use too many tire sets at the beginning of the race.
That's what I was thinking too. I mean, if you're towards the front, yes, the tires and the pace will be better with fresh tires, but when you're stuck in traffic, pace is only going to be how fast the guy is in front of you. So I would definitely value track position over everything here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you want to be the leader. You want to be the controller of restarts, because if you can get a good enough restart and clear yourself of the lead, then you're automatically forcing that guy in second to have to pass you on the inside. Unless you make a mistake, we've already gone over that. It's just really tough to do. So Jason Warren, he was able to take the lead off the initial start, and he's been able to control these restarts ever since, and we'll see if he's able to execute this time.
Looking through the field, I think that's actually a brand new paint scheme for Jason Warren, isn't it? Unless I might
I've seen him run it before, I believe.
Okay. See, I'm having trading paint issues, so I couldn't remember if I've seen that one or not. I don't know if it's actually showing me the correct one.
See if Garrett Kinder in third's able to get it. You mentioned last restart how he was able to get up next to him, but couldn't make the pass. So we'll see if he gets a good enough jump this time.
Yeah, it looked like he just fired off good. As we see Jason Warren electing to go pretty quick, and Garrett Kinder actually pulls up beside him. We'll see if he's able to clear Clint Reese in the 2 machine. He hasn't cleared now, but watch this run that Clint Reese gets off the exit, but he's able to slide in.
Really nice jump there from Garrett Kinder, along with kind of a bad jump from Clint Reese, as now he's side by side with Garrett Kinder. Got to be careful, though, because if you get side by side with somebody, we were on board with Joshua Sexton in the 051. If you get up next side by side with somebody but you can't make the pass, that guy behind you is going to try to fill that hole on the outside and kind of foul you back. So you got to be very careful.
It's always a risk, without a doubt, when you step down low here, because you got somebody itching behind you just to, like you said, just fill in that hole right then, and then before you know it, you've lost 2 to 3 spots. So you got to pick your spots really wisely here.
Everything's kind of gotten single filed out now, which you expect at Bristol with that high line really starting to come into play. And Sam What's-name with some bad damage there. William Griffith, well, I was trying to find his name. Oh, he's a lap down, unfortunately. So he's maybe on some fresher tires and going to make some passes on these guys back here. You see that back end damage, and if you're at a bigger track, you see at the back end of the 12. If you're at a bigger track, that might affect you. But here at Bristol, that might even help you.
Oh, you're exactly right. We saw Kyle Busch in real life take just a completely destroyed side of his car to victory lane. And there's a reason for that. I mean, at these big tracks where aero might play a part in how you run, it makes a difference. But here at this short track, we've seen William Griffith actually be involved in both wrecks right now. Not to be to his fault or anything like that, but you still see he's able to run pretty strong and keep pace with the guys he's around.
Some racing back here. You see the 41 of Ray Page and Justin Hendry in the 85 on the bottom trying to pass Ray, but with no luck. That is the battle for 13th right now. And that battle is settled down. You're not going to see too many consistent battles. And it all really, every time you talk about battling on the track, it all goes back to that bottom line not working, as well as the high line, because when you see a track that has consistent battling, it all has to do with 2 raceable lines, and that just doesn't happen here. So Bristol, you're definitely not going to see too many laps in a row where two cars stay side by side, just because if you're not able to make the pass, like I said, you don't want to risk that guy behind you filling that hole on the top.
So I was noticing that second, third, and fourth were actually closing in on Warren after he got that good jump. Well, fifth place even. And I've also noticed that Clint Reese in the 2 machine, the Exxon machine, he's looking about a half a lane lower than Garrett Kinder on most corners. So either he's doing that to kind of diamond off the corners. We see Garrett Kinder actually looking to make a pass, but look what happened right there. And Clint Reese was able to pull to his outside and will more than likely clear Garrett Kinder after he tried to make that inside line work.
Garrett, I think Warren checked up a little bit, and Garrett went to the bottom line to avoid him, and that's what cost him that second position. And here comes Joshua Sexton for the P3. Let's see if Garrett Kinder's, nope, he's not able to slide up. He does have a hole in behind Joshua Sexton. Oh, he's just gonna force his way up. There's the yellow flag is out. Ray Page has an issue. We saw him battling with with Justin Hendry. Not sure if that battle continued and maybe something went south with that battle. Oh, no, he just got loose on his own. We'll check this out. Well, we had a decent little... Oh, no, he hit the wall. Okay, so he didn't get loose. He just hit the wall. Yeah, and big contact. And, unfortunately, I can't tell who that was.
That's one thing I hate about short track racing. It's my favorite racing to do, Zach. But it just seems like on iRacing, sometimes you hit that inside wall and it shoots you off like a pinball. Granted, it does it in real life too, but it just seems to do it that much worse in iRacing.
I still don't think we'll see anybody pit here, or at least up front, because, again, track position. We do have Jamie Barkus, Chuck Phelps, Justin Hendry down pit road, Justin Hendry, there he is.
Now, Jamie Barkus, that'd be a guy to watch on fresh tire because he's already super fast as is. And although they haven't done but maybe 15 to 20 laps under green flag conditions, there is a difference in them tires. And be interesting to see if Jamie's able to maybe make the bottom work a little bit without having to use his tires up too much.
Yeah, and just like last season, so far, Jamie Barkus and Patrick Jerbick with the points lead and Jamie in second are kind of duking it out for the points lead. So far, they were fighting for the points lead on the championship weekend last season, but we're about 5 races into this season, and so far they're still up there in the top 2 spots with Garrett Kinder, not far behind in third though, but it just shows kind of the consistency of those Jam Cook guys who are able to consistently finish up front. They both have wins, Jamie with 2, Patrick with 1, and we're not seeing them up front here tonight at Bristol yet, but Patrick Jerbick in 6th right now. It's just, even if you're good, like we mentioned, it's tough to pass. So Jerbick is in 6th, looking good for him, but unfortunately for his teammate, who's in 20th right now. So we'll see how those fresh tires work out for him.
I think about the only way you make the bottom lane work here tonight, Zach, is just to be on 20, 30 lap fresher tires. And even then, that guy on the outside can still be fast enough to be what I call a nuisance. Just being fast enough to where it's just hard to clear them. As we saw Garrett Kinder, he actually cleared himself with Joshua Sexton. If that was a split second earlier, that would have been a catastrophe. But Garrett Kinder, he played it perfect, and luckily Joshua let him in right then.
And him being able to be in 3rd when the caution came out means that he'll be able to start exactly where he did last restart, where he got himself into 2nd. So we'll see if he's able to match Jason Warren's restart once again.
Clint Reese is normally really good on restarts, but when you're firing off 2nd here at Bristol, it's so hard to time whenever the leader's going to go the way the banking is. You physically have to be looking out your left window, and that's tough just to go around the corner looking out your left window. If you look away for 1 split second, he's gone.
Jason Warren, Clint Reese, your front row with Garrett Kinder and Joshua Sexton behind him. Your top 4 has been your top 4 all race, with Jason Warren gaining a spot over Clint Reese on the initial start of the race, though. But the green flag is out, and it looks like that top 4 might be a little bit in danger as Kieran Church looking to make a pass on Sexton, but he's not able to, and Garrett Kinder wasn't able to get a good jump, and he's going to fall back to at least 4th.
It's just all about that restart. If you start on the inside lane, you have to get a great restart in order to clear that guy on your outside going into turn 2, or coming out of turn 2, excuse me.
Good battle going on here between Tia Swank and Scotty Stevens. Scotty in the 53, almost a little contact as Scotty Stevens is going to hit the wall, and there Josh Lokenvitz, unfortunately, is a victim of who was it? Sorry.
Just a victim of circumstances right then.
Yeah, he was a victim of Scotty Stevens hitting the wall as those two made contact, and Josh Lokenvitz is, I believe, the only one who actually goes around. Wrong place, wrong time for Josh Lokenvitz.
That's tough, Zach. As you see, he's just going backwards on replay. He's just riding along, minding his business, and car gets into the wall, and look what happens here. Just absolutely nowhere to go.
Jeff Paisley kind of gets a little bit of it. But yeah, nowhere to go for Josh. He couldn't have reacted any faster. You know, if you're asking why didn't he just go to the left more, well, it's kind of hard to. I mean, that car just, you saw how fast that car turned right into the wall, and then bounced right off of it, and there was nowhere for him to go. And it's kind of hard to turn that car, you know, all the way down to the left as fast as you want to avoid that here. So they do have a quick repair, so I mean, he can use it if he wants to. I don't think that's enough damage for him to really want to use a quick repair. We'll see what he chooses to do.
And you hitting on the why didn't he turn left part. Maybe in your street car going 40 miles per hour, you might be able to avoid that accident. These guys are going 120. That's a fast spot of the track too. You're pretty much, you're starting to get wide open on the throttle right there. If he was to try to make an evasive move to dodge him, who knows? He could be in a way worse spot right now with so much more damage. He did try to avoid him. It happened so fast. These short tracks, they don't give you no time to react at all. It's a dangerous game out here.
Absolutely, short tracks. The hardest kind of track to try to avoid a wreck, I feel like. You know, super speedways, it's hard to avoid just because if you're in the turns and someone wrecks right in front of the field, there's nowhere for anyone to go. But short tracks, they're, you know, smaller and how wide they are, and that can really just kind of jumble up the entire front stretch or back stretch wherever you are. So, I mean, funny enough, the turns are the better place for someone to wreck here at Bristol, really, because when you're running that high line, you get wrecked. Most likely, what are you going to do? You're going to go down the banking unless you get wrecked up into the wall. So if the front stretch or back stretch is where the wreck happens, that's where it can really clog up.
You're exactly right. And you hear, like, whenever NASCAR or Xfinity or trucks, they go to Daytona or Talladega, you always hear them throw around that word, the big one, like the big caution. Well, that happens on short tracks a lot, too. Like we just saw, drivers did a good job of evading that, but if that would have happened off a restart when everybody's bunched up together, who knows, you could have had 6, 7, 8 cars in that accident right then. As the lights go off on the pace car.
Garrett Kinder gets to start on that outside lane for the first time tonight, so we'll see how well he executes. And really, when you're behind that second place car, your restart is only as good as his, obviously. So Clinton Reese has to get a good jump in order for Garrett Kinder to really make that high line work to try to get past at least Joshua Sexton for third.
Yeah, you gotta, when you're on the second row, third or fourth, you just gotta hope that that car in front of you gets a good jump, and maybe you can get a good jump as well. But Jason Warren fires off early, and he's able to clear Clint Reese just about every time by firing off early like that.
I mean, he went as soon as that pace car went, and the green flag is out. Garrett Kinder going to get next to Joshua. He hits the wall a little bit, but he's able to get up next to Joshua Sexton, going to try to take that away. Joshua could have cleared himself, but maybe being a little nicer here early on.
Joshua, yeah, he's a teammate, but he's a smart racer. He don't get overly aggressive, and he's never in a hurry. That's why, like, these longer races, he does good at conserving his tires and just mainly conserving his ego and his temper. He don't get mad ever, and he could have cleared himself right then, but he elected not to. But you see what that causes. Now look at him. Now he's he's fighting for his life on the low line with Patrick Trebick, and it says the 20 machine on my screen, Zach. I'm not sure who that is on yours.
It's Kieran Church. He's the 18. Not sure why it's showing the 20. He probably just has the 20, unfortunately. But yeah, Kieran Church going to get past Sexton, and Sexton clears himself, and he was not clear. And Patrick Trebek not gonna be happy with that.
That just put my foot in my mouth of everything I just said right then.
Yeah, we talked about how he was kind of being nice and not clearing himself. And more contact, and they're wrecking. They keep it going though. They use that wall to kind of stay straight. And I don't know if this is from a previous wreck, but if not, Jeff Paisley just suffered a lot from that wreck. Look at that front end.
Oh yeah. Now we saw him. I think that's fresh, Zach, because I was watching him earlier, and he definitely had a front clip, and it looks like it's hurting him quite a bit. You watch that car suck up behind him, but that high line's just allowing him to maintain somewhat good pace as the 69 machine's trying to get by him on the low line.
Jimmy Barkus trying to get past him here, and Jeff Paisley comes up the wall. And Jamie comes up the track. Josh Lokenvent's again.
Just everybody just piling in. That's what we're talking about right there.
Not really anything Jamie could have done. That car bounced off the wall right back onto the track.
Jamie was the one that was on fresh tires too, wasn't
he? Yeah, I think so. Jeff Paisley hits the wall and then comes down, and nowhere to go for Barkus. And Kyle Roberts gets caught up in it. Lokenvent, Brandon Wallace as well. And then everybody else just doing their best to avoid. And it looks like maybe he was able to crawl back to pit road. I'm not sure. I think he had to tow for sure.
It doesn't look like his car is running, smoking, or anything. So that's a tough break. As we're actually seeing our leaders come down, this is going to be a 4-tire stop, I guess, and with adding some fuel into it and just trying to make it to the end.
Hey, we said that our pit window or our fuel window could be 150 laps, so they would be able to make it from here on fuel most likely. So maybe this is a good call.
I think with the leaders coming in right here, it's after about 50 laps. Yeah, it hadn't been 50 green flag laps, but you got 4 tires. You can break it up into 4 stages, basically. So I'm surprised that we didn't see at least 1 or 2 maybe try to stay out gambling. That was towards the back of the field. Oh, we did? Okay.
Yep, we got Mike Hornbeck, Justin Hendry, Brandon Wallace, Eric Santee, Rich Yeoman who stay out. Josh Oswald and Josh Lokenvent stayed out, but they went down pit road this time.
I was going to say I know we haven't had a lot of green flag laps. We have had some, but I still figured we'd have a few drivers just try to get track position like this.
But yeah, if what I learned before the race was true and that you can go at least 150 laps, then not a bad call, because now you can make it from a fuel standpoint and maybe just have to worry about tires the rest of the way.
I want to do a little shout out to Sam in the 98. I know that's your father, but that car is crazy. That's insane. That's a really good paint scheme he's got on that car. It's wild.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
It's hard for me to get zoomed in where I can see it, but it looks like Darth Vader, maybe?
Yeah, you can look at my Discord. Got his paint scheme up here.
Yeah, it's just that's a wild looking paint scheme. That one right there stands out.
Absolutely.
A lot of good paint schemes out here. I like Josh Oswald's in the 17. It gives me like that old school vibe with how big the number is, but it's a really good looking car.
See if we get the lights off this time around. And we will, as they're going to line up. Looks like we had 4 people officially stay out. The 2 others eventually went down and pit. So 4 people stay out. That is Mike Hornbeck, Justin Hendry, Brandon Wallace, and Eric Santee. Your top 4 in that order, with Jason Warren in 5th and Clint Reist in 6th behind him.
The 54 machine looks like he has a little damage on his rear end, so I'm wondering if maybe he pitted from an earlier incident.
See how good of a jump these guys get here. Hopefully don't spin the tires. That's the biggest thing here is just don't spin the tires as the leader. Green flag is out. The top two get a good jump. Brandon Wallace and Eric Santee do not get as good of a jump, and that outside line really stacked up because of it.
Look at the 85 making a power move down low on the 54, just trying to get that top dog position right now. And keep a watch out for Jason Warren, Garrett Kinder, Clint Reese, and Joshua Sexton. They have not really had to battle traffic much this race. They battled amongst each other, but would normally get single filed out pretty quick. And
yeah.
You know Jason Warren, he's itching to get back up in the top dog spot right now.
Garrett Kinder, who started on the outside line, I believe, behind Clint Reese, he's passed him. He's passed Clint Reese. He's passed Jason Warren and Joshua Sexton. So if he can get past all these guys on older tires, he'll be in the lead.
He is knocking on the 54's door right now, just trying to make that bottom work, and we're going to see those fresh tires. They do make a difference right here. I think he'll be able to clear him right here off the corner exit, and he does, and he's bringing Joshua Sexton with him and maybe Clint Reese. Oh, as the 54 actually tags the wall a little bit.
Now one driver left here up front with older tires. That's Justin Hendry. He's running that bottom line, so we're going to see these guys in the higher line and fresher tires catch him quick. Garrett Kindred, who is outside, and if he clears them out of this turn, which he will, Garrett Kindred to the lead.
Just the high lane combined with the fresh tires is just nothing that 85 machine can do besides just save face at this point and just try to fall back into fourth and wait for Warren to get to him as well. But he does get some valuable track position.
Eric Santee's all the way back to 15th. Behind Josh Lokenvents there on his outside, and now going to be passed for another one here shortly. So not working out, unfortunately, for the 81. But Garrett Kinder in the lead, Joshua Sexton second, Clint Reese third. Justin Hendry is still holding his position over Jason Warren.
Yeah, I've actually stayed on this battle right here to see if Jason Warren would ever be able to clear him. He gets to his inside right here. This is like the second time I've seen this, but he might be able to clear him on corner exit here. Yeah, he should be able to get him.
So Jason Warren been in the lead all race, and now he's going to have to deal with 30 errors. He's now in fourth.
That's what I was going to hit on. Jason has had a clean track essentially this whole race. He hadn't really came up on ladder traffic yet or anything. So he's really now feeling what that car feels like in traffic tonight.
Joshua Sexton right on the back bumper of Garrett Kinder, but what will he do when he gets to him? He has Clint Reese behind him, so if you're going to commit to the bottom, you got, Reckon, big. Kieran Church, Jeff Paisley. On lap 70 of 200, I believe, third caution here.
Looks like a pretty hard impact right here, just watching it in reverse from your point of view.
Kieran already had that damage. I thought he got it from this wreck. Ooh, Jeff Paisley, he's having some trouble on that front stretch. That's kind of the second time he's come off of that wall and unfortunately gotten to the person below him.
I mean, I talked about it earlier where they talk about the Darlington stripe. That black wall in Bristol, I mean, it gets hit a lot in real life and especially on here because you got to use as much of the track as you can on corner exit to actually get that momentum. And sometimes you just bite off more than you can chew. And, I mean, we saw it happen 2 or 3 times here tonight between Jeff Paisley and Scotty Stevens earlier. Now, Zach, if you was one of the drivers that stayed out, do you go in and take your 4 fresh ones now, or do you? I mean, I know we saw the 81 kind of fall back a little bit. I think it's a no-brainer for him.
Absolutely.
But this 85 car.
So yeah, if I'm Eric Santee, I'm pitting, which we haven't seen him pit yet. Mike Hornbeck has pit, or actually, yeah, he's pit there in the 54. I'm trying to remember who the other person was. It was Mike Hornbeck, Eric Santee, Justin Hendry, and Justin Hendry has gone down pit road from that P5 position. And Brandon Wallace was the other driver up there. So Justin Hendry and Mike Hornbeck have both pit, while Brandon Wallace and Eric Santee, who are actually 12th and 13, or 13th position, have stayed out so far.
I'm curious that Jeff Paisley, sorry to interrupt you, Zach, but I'm curious that Jeff Paisley has not elected to use his fast repair, but it looks like he is going down pit road now. I mean, I know damage don't affect you much at Bristol, but that car is pretty much toast, I think.
Yeah, we'll take a quick look at the schedule while we're under caution here. For the first time here tonight, Bristol here tonight, Atlanta next week for 115 laps around that tire-eating track. I mean, especially during the day, which you run at Atlanta, it just, that sun beat down on that track just tears those tires up. And then we head a week later to Iowa, and then you can kind of see the rest of your schedule there. Obviously, leading to Daytona Road Course on June 18th. I mean, again, I'll say it every time I look at the schedule. What a race for the cutoff race for the end of the regular season. I mean, that's the race that, you know, someone's either trying to get a last race win to get in the playoffs or just racing for points. And that is such a tough track to have to, if you're on the cut line, to try to make the playoffs. So we'll see who prevails from there. And then Dover, Kentucky, North Wilkesboro will be your round of 12. Round of 8 will be Darlington, Talladega, and Richmond. A very tough round of 8. And then we head to Phoenix for the Championship 4. So thank you guys for who have tuned in throughout the first part of this season. Still a lot of racing left to go. Hope you are able to tune in the rest of the season. All the fun racetracks we're heading to, and then the fun playoffs that we're going to have here in this Xtreme Xfinity Series.
You hit on it right then. That round of 8, that's a brutal round right there. You just got to try to, one of them 3 races, or 2 of them, basically, you got to have a good race.
Yeah, in Darlington, I mean, you've already talked about the Darlington Stripe tonight. That's a really tough racetrack. And then you go to Talladega, where anything can happen. And Richmond, which is a tough track, but it's the easiest of the 3. That just shows how tough the other 2 tracks are. So not to think too much ahead of time, but I'm really looking forward to that round just to see who can stay consistent at such tough tracks. But here tonight, we won't look too far ahead. Here tonight at Bristol, 77 laps in, and we got some good racing going on. Josh Lokenvins on the inside trying to pass Jesse Nekula, and he's able to clear him for that 8th position.
It looks like the pack, we're seeing double file throughout the pack in spots, but it looks like everybody's just electing just to ride the high line now. But how long can you do that? I know it's a 200-lap race. We're on lap 80 right now. We're coming to lap 80. This is a 15-second, 16-second lap. They start clicking off fast. You do get a green flag run.
Yeah, we kind of mentioned how it might move down to the middle line, but if we can't get a long enough green flag lap or run, you know, if we keep getting fresh tires every 30 to 50 laps, then I think that looseness of that car is gonna kind of stick. So we'll see if we're able to get a longer green flag run. You know, 50 to 70 laps, that might cause those cars to turn a little bit on the tighter side. So we'll see if we can get that kind of run. But we're closing in here, close to halfway. Here at Bristol Motor Speedway, Garrett Kinder, your leader, Joshua Sexton, second. And this is the first time, really, as Kinder touches the wall, but it doesn't affect him too much. Oh, there he goes again, unfortunately. Oh, and he's going to lose control of that car, and thankfully he regains it, but that's going to cause him time.
That was a really good save there, Zach. When you're going straight like that and you hit the wall, it bounced you off. You end up turning the wheel to the left and to the right, and before you know it, you're back to the left again, just trying to save that car. And he lost a little momentum, but he did a really good job wheeling that car and getting it under control.
I was just about to say that kind of for the first time tonight, we've seen separation from first and second and third, but after that, right back, we have 3 cars nose to tail right now, as Jason Warren's still in 4th, but not looking maybe as fast as he was early on. He's fallen back to 4th and about a second behind these top 3.
It makes me wonder if that's by choice or if he's just traffic's got to him or whatnot, or if he's just trying to ride around and conserve tires, expecting a good green flag run.
We got a battle going on for 3rd. Clint Reese trying to make a move on Joshua Sexton, and right now he can kind of do that without anything bad happening to him because he has no one behind him, anybody close. Jason Warren now 8/10 behind him is the closest car, so he can try to pass on the inside with the ease of mind knowing that he has a clear track behind him. He can go back to that outside line if he is not able to pass Joshua Sexton.
You're exactly right. There's no penalty right now for looking down low. Now, once Jason Warren starts to close the gap in more, we've hit on it earlier. You mentioned it earlier. As soon as Clint Reese dips down low and there's a car behind him, somebody will fill that gap before you know it.
Man, some tight battling going on back here in the 7th position. Sixth position is Patrick Jabik in the 07. Scotty Stevens in the 53 going to try to clear himself over Mickey Isaac, and maybe Mickey cutting him a break just because he knew that if he hit him, that would also ruin his race car. So thankfully for both of them, Mickey Isaac shows a little bit of patience and doesn't try to fill that hole that he was just about to try to close. And William Griffith's slow on the high side now. William, he was a lap down just not too long ago, and now he's up here battling for the 8th position.
I definitely think the 01 machine of Mickey Isaac cut Scotty Stevens a break right then, and then look what happened to Mickey now. Now he's falling back, just tagged the wall, and that's what it sucks at these short tracks. You cut somebody a break, you end up cutting yourself. So you got to find that happy medium here. But with it still being 110 so laps to go, we're going to need caution again. You don't want to really push too much right now or make enemies.
Chuck Feltz, I'm not sure if he's in pit road because of this caution, but he does have a lot of damage to that car. Yep, it was him. Him and Eric Santee, I think, get together. Yep, I think Eric Santee hits the wall, but I'm not going to keep speculating. Let's just check out what happened. Yep, gets into the wall and nowhere to go for Chuck Feltz. Big damage to both cars.
That's like the 3rd or 4th time we've seen that same type of wreck happen tonight, Zach.
Clint Reese goes down to pit road. I'll talk about that in a second with you. Clint Reese goes down to pit road and nobody follows him. William Griffith and Josh Lokenvitz do, but that's going to be a lot of track position they're probably going to lose there.
Ooh, I can't remember what lap they put it on last. I think it was like 53. So you're looking at about 40 laps to go. That's scary. Maybe Clint thought more drivers would pull off with him behind him.
But to kind of go back to these wrecks that we've been seeing that you mentioned, where they've hit the wall in the front stretch or back stretch out of the turn, and then obviously nowhere to go for the guy behind him. That really just looks like they're pushing it pretty hard out of the turn, and you're already so close to that wall. If you get back on the gas too soon, that car can instantly get tight on exit, and that's what we've seen here tonight. A lot of people getting tight on exit, and they try to not hit that wall. Obviously, no one's goal is to hit the wall, but just to no avail as that wall really comes up quick.
You're exactly right. That's why at a track like this or a track like Darlington, or like we got coming on the schedule now, Lucas Oil, IRP in a few weeks. Anytime you're running up near that wall, just the slightest bit of mistake, maybe you got back into the gas too quick, like you said. Maybe you didn't get back in the gas quick enough, didn't let the car rotate with the throttle. And then before you know it, boom, you're into the outside wall. And the people behind you, if they're close enough to you, they got nowhere to go.
Yeah, IRP going to be running that middle to higher lane, and kind of the exact same thing we're dealing with. It's going to be tough to pass, except a lot less banking there.
Zach, if I recall, didn't Xfinity used to race IRP in real life?
That was my favorite racing to go to when I was a kid, was when they were at IRP. But unfortunately, they stopped going there and went to Indianapolis because that was the big named track, and kind of took Xfinity racing away from that track.
I thought that was around your home or around where you were born, so that's what I thought.
Yeah, my dad took me to a few Xfinity races there before they eventually left. It was a lot of fun.
While we're in the caution, I just want to look ahead. I know we said we shouldn't do it, but just thinking about that Daytona road course in my head, you do a lot of road course racing. I see your posts and you talk about road course racing. The hardest thing for me to ever understand or to do correctly is to blip the throttle when you're downshifting. Do you think the Daytona road course, you think it's going to be probably the toughest race on the schedule?
Oh, I honestly have no doubt that that's going to be the toughest race. We have Darlington, Talladega, but that's just a different monster in the terms of the fact that it's a road course, and just not as many people, and not just this league, but not as many people that run oval run road courses, and so it's a whole different beast. There's challenges to every racetrack you go to, but when you have to go to a racetrack and turn right in these cars, it's pretty tough.
As we see Garrett Kinder get a great jump, Joshua Sexton able to follow him. But yeah, that's what I figured. I know you do a lot of road course racing in stock cars, and I knew if anybody would know the answer to it, it'd be you. So I figured, I know I tried to do official races there, and if you don't master the rev matching, you're just going to lose your car every time you get on the brakes.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we'll see in that race when you talk about wrecks is wheel hops. I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to a road course. You know, those back tires start to chatter, and that you lose that car, you spin around. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch and not a lot of fun to drive for these drivers. As we've reached halfway now here at Bristol, we're starting to get a nice run. We've gotten these 20 to 30 lap runs. It's just eventually a caution cuts it short as we get to the 40 to 50 range.
As you see, Jason Warren actually has a little bit of pressure on him right now, and the 18 machine of Church is able to actually clear him.
Yeah, Kiernan, he's come back from having to use a quick repair, so he's in the danger spot of right now if he cannot be involved in another big wreck. But he's worked his way. I've been watching him actually. I was watching him move up to 10th, and then when other people pit, he moved up to 6th, and now up to 3rd place. He looks like he has a pretty fast car here tonight.
Wanted to come back further into the field a little bit and check on Clint Reese. He elected to pit right then. I'm not sure if he took 4 tires, but it's looking like I wouldn't think he'd pit unless he would have took tires. And he's gaining positions, but still, at the end of the day, track position's key.
Absolutely. He's now passing Justin Hendry, who still hasn't pit. We watched him stay out last time. Oh, wait, no, he did pit. Never mind. Yeah, he did pit. Mike Hornbeck, he stayed out, and then he pit last time. He's moved up all the way to 9th on the back bumper of Jeff Paisley. And either Jeff Paisley hasn't used the quick repair, or it's the glitch where even when you use it, your car doesn't get fixed. I'm not sure why, but they do have that glitch in iRacing where even when you use a fast repair, it doesn't fix your car. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he thinks, why use my, as long as you have a good motor that's fully up, that's running at its top pace, maybe he's thinking, I don't want to use my quick repair because, like I said, if your motor goes out, that's when you're going to need it most.
My biggest worry about that car, if he's not down on power, I'd be keeping an eye on that, on the temps, just to make sure you don't eventually blow the motor, because if you do blow the motor, you might not be able to make it down pit road. It's actually the 54 gets doored a little bit right then. He's actually going to lose a few spots, but he did a good job saving that car.
Ooh, Tia Swank having some issues here. I believe he was the one who accidentally doored Hornbeck, and then he hits the wall there. But some good racing going on here for the top 10 spot. And even ahead of them, Scotty Stevens and Patrick Jerbick also fighting. Oh, no, Mike Hornbeck. I thought I saw him go into the apron. And here goes Kieran Church for the lead.
Yeah, Hornbeck, him and Griffith touch. They are 3 wide as the pack goes further back. I know you're watching the lead packs right now.
Man, I checked the pit strategy to see when Kiernan pit, because it looks like he's on newer tires, but it's saying he pit 55 laps ago with Kinder and Warren. So sometimes that pit thing that I have glitches, so it may not be true, but if it is, what pace he has to be on the same tire strategy and running away 7/10 ahead of Kinder.
I feel like when we saw him in the accident, I thought he got 4 tires, but that might not be the case.
My graphic could be wrong. It's wrong all the time because I like iRacing live timing, but some parts of it are kind of glitchier than I would like. He looks just, and I'm not going to say it's not because, here's lap traffic he's having to deal with. I'm not going to say anything about it just because, he's a talented driver. I'm teamed with him in the truck series. But this just, he is outright blistering laps right now compared to others. He's already at 1.3 seconds ahead of Kinder, and he just passed him like 5 laps ago.
Yeah, if he's on old tires right now, somebody needs to sign this dude to a deal because he looks like the real deal right now. He is super fast, like you said, but this is next level fast right here.
He finishes in the top 3 like where he is now. We'll definitely have to ask him. As old Mickey Isaac gets close to Sexton as he made contact with the wall, and I think I hear wrecking, but I could be wrong. I thought I heard somebody hit the wall, but yeah.
I heard it as well.
Josh Oswald's slow on the front stretch. Not sure what's happening to that car. Maybe a part of what we heard? I'm not sure. Yeah, he's extremely slow. I'm not sure what's happening. He might be having a real-life issue. I'm not sure.
Just wanted to go ahead.
Oh, he's running around the track on the apron in the bottom, but he's not pulling off track like he has like an issue with his wheel or something. So I'm not sure what's going on with that car.
I just want to give an update on Jamie Barkis. I think he is the current points leader right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, Patrick Jabik is in the points lead, 13 ahead of Jamie Barkis.
Okay, that's right. I got him mixed up. So Jamie Barkis, he's had quite a bit of top 5, top 3 finishes this season so far. But we saw him get involved in the wreck earlier. But he's 3 laps down right now. He's not really in a spot for a lucky dog. So basically right now he's just clicking laps off and trying to salvage whatever finish you can. And that's what you have to do, Zach, in these long type seasons. One bad race won't derail your whole season, but it can't hurt the chances of winning a championship. So you got to stay out there and try to get every point you can at this point.
It's Jason Warren trying to pass Garrett Kinder on the inside, and contact! And that's going to cost Jason Warren the 3rd position. As here comes Joshua Sexton. Garrett Kinder, he's 3rd in points right now. Currently 23 points behind Patrick and 11 behind Jamie Barkis. So if we were to finish where we are now with Kinder in 2nd and Trebek in 13th, that would at least tie him for 2nd place. But I believe there's bonus points for leading. So Kinder by the end tonight may not be in the points lead, but he could absolutely take 2nd away from Jamie Barkis in the points.
Since I've been calling these races with you, Zach, and like I said last week, I raced in the first 3 races. Garrett Kinder, on the 1.5-mile tracks, he was a guy that would run about 6/7 for most of the night. But then you got about 20 laps to go, he'd be blowing your doors off passing you. So he is a very, very smart racer. I can tell just by watching him. He is he's running up towards the front tonight, but you almost have to. You want the least amount of cars in front of you at Bristol, just because if a wreck does happen, luckily, if you're in front, it'll happen behind you.
First of all, I want to hit on Josh Lokenvents. He actually made a pass. Oh, Garrett Kinder in the wall. He made a pass on Joshua Sexton, and now trying to pass Jason Warren. I believe he's on fresher tires as he makes a pass on the inside. Oh, gets a little squirrely, so he's not able to make it just yet. But he's up to 3rd place, and here comes Clint Reist on new tires as well, up to the 8th position.
So they're getting close to where they were running, and they're going to fall. So the ones that stayed out here, the ones that stayed out before, you almost got to pit here, I would think.
I think even if you pit last time, you might have to pit.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So that's going to help.
They may come down.
Yeah, so that's going to help. I mean, that's going to help at least the people who stayed out, because if they kept that track position, and now they'll be able to pit with the other people who pit last time. So I think the only person who didn't want to see that was Kieran Church, because he was running away 5.8 seconds ahead. You see contact to the wall for Mickey Isaac, and oh no! Kieran got caught up in that.
No way! I wasn't paying attention.
He's still rolling. It wasn't like too much damage, but he did make contact. We'll take a second look at how much contact he made. It was a decent amount. It was a decent amount of contact, but I don't think it was blow your motor up contact. As you see, stacking up in front of him, wreck. That's a decent amount of contact.
Yeah, that's. I don't know, Zach. That may be fast repair worthy. I mean,
I think you already used one here tonight.
Oh no.
So I mean, he's rolling out. He didn't stay for damages, so he thinks that car is good to go. That might just be cosmetic damage and no motor if he's lucky.
He did get the car slowed up, but he got him pretty hard, just right in the front of his car. The worst spot to take a hit. I mean, that's the absolute worst spot to get hit or to do a hit, per se. Man, that's the worst thing possible for the leader, to come up on lap traffic, and then before you know it, you're looking at a guy's helmet, basically, for your windshield.
Yeah, that's the dangers of this track. And Justin Hendry goes down pit road, so we have 5 people who stayed out, including Josh Lokenvents, William Griffith, Jeff Paisley, Brandon Wallace, and Mike Hornbeck. So with 70 laps to go, and it's going to be a little under 70 laps to go when we go back to green, these guys who just got tires, Kieran Church in 6th and everybody behind him, going to have to do a little bit of work to get back up there, but a good amount of time left to do it.
I think if he don't have any type of motor damage, radiator damage, it's going to be really awesome seeing these guys actually. If he was on fresh tires last time when the other drivers wasn't, it's going to be awesome seeing this battle because he just proved right there, fresh tires or not, he's super, super fast, and obviously he has to be super confident coming to Bristol.
Yeah, really any move you make here has to be a confident move, because if you even take an extra second to think about what you're going to do, it's probably going to be too late. So you bring up the word confidence, and that's definitely one thing you need here if you're going to make passes in split seconds.
Absolutely, because if you take that second to hesitate, say you take that second to hesitate coming out of turn 4, that second you're already at the start-finish line. You know, it's a 16-second lap, and 200 laps sounds like a lot whenever you say it out loud, but man, we've been here 50 minutes. We're halfway through the race. We've had some cautions, and we got about 70 so laps to go.
Honestly, for Bristol, this has been a pretty good race. I give these guys credit. We haven't had super, super long runs, but you never really expect that at Bristol. We've had really nice, at least 20 to 40 lap runs consistently. So obviously with cautions sprinkled in between, but a really nice run here tonight by these Xfinity drivers.
Absolutely, and I know people might not think this, but this is in the Xfinity cars too. I think these cars are harder to drive actually than the Cup cars. It seems like the Cup cars are a little bit more tame. As we go green here, and
green flag is out. Kieran Church, either not a good jump or he is down on horsepower. Here he comes back, so maybe just not a good jump. Oh no, I think he's down on horsepower, as he is falling back pretty quickly. He gets on those front straights and kind of falls. So you won't really see it in the corners. Jason Warren
getting loose, and then Scotty Stevens I think went behind him and got into him.
I was just about to say, you notice maybe Kieran Church in the turn slows up a little bit, but he's coming back. So I don't know what to think about that car, but we'll just have to see as it goes on, because he made that pass on Mike Hornbeck and looks like he's up to full power now. I'm not sure what was happening there. But with that happening, Garrett Kinder going to be back in that lead spot. If he can pass these two guys on older tires, he's going to go to the bottom of William Griffith and should make that pass pretty easily through, I believe it's 3 and 4, but it's really tough to tell when you don't pay attention.
Oh, yeah. It's impossible. It's even impossible to tell when you're on the track. So I'm always looking for the flag stand when I'm on the straightaway.
As Garrett Kinder back to the lead with Joshua Sexton right behind him. Unfortunately, Jason Warren, you saw him get loose there. Now he's in trying to make a pass for 12th over Mike Hornbeck and Scotty Stevens. You see 3 wide in front of him. Oh no, Clint Reese goes around. Tia Swank, I maybe made some contact. Jamie Barkis, unfortunately, contact there. Clint Reese gets hit in the left rear and spun around in the middle of the track, which is the worst place. Because I talked about how on the front straights and back straight are the worst places to wreck. But, man, I guess there's a competition, because if you get wrecked into the turn, not in like when you're in the turn, but if you're about to enter the turn and get spun, that's when it can get dangerous too.
I think it's dangerous all around here. It really is. We've seen it all tonight. But, yeah, he does. He actually gets a little bit of help and then does a good job holding the brakes, even though he did get slammed into by Barkis, I think that was at the end.
Yeah.
Nowhere for them guys to go. There's a car sitting in the middle of the corner, so what can you do when you're coming in at 120 miles per hour?
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Lokenvintz, Jeff Paisley, William Griffith, and Mike Hornbeck all down pit road. I know at least 3 of these guys didn't pit last time. I'm not sure if I think William pit last time, so maybe some damage he wanted to get fixed. But these guys who stayed out last time, including Brandon Wallace, going to go down and get 4 fresh tires.
It's a real tough break for Clint Reese, because we saw him up front a majority of this race. Maybe not in the lead spot, but he's been in the top 3, top 4 this entire race tonight, Zach. He elected to make a pit stop under caution that a lot of other people wouldn't take her zone and put him back in the track. He did fight back and gain some position. I think he was running 8th, I believe, but just was never able to actually get up towards the front again.
Well, because we were taking a look at that battle right as Clint Reese got spun, and I was just about to say, it's a jumble of cars. I mean, just 2x2, 3 lanes deep. And that's the big danger of if somebody gets spun in front of that pack, of everybody behind it getting involved into the wreck. And, yeah, Jason Warren got some of it, Tia Swank, along with Jamie Barkus, who probably got the most of it. He was behind it and just nowhere to go, trying to avoid the wreck. You see him there. He's going to take the wave around. A lot of damage to the front end of that car.
Yeah, that car is, it's seen better days. You can definitely tell it's been racing at Bristol.
See if we get the one to go this next time around. Jamie Barkus going to take that wave around. Garrett Kinder going to reassume the lead. Or at least the lead spot on track anyways. As we do not.
I mean, look who's in 3rd now here, Zach. Somebody that's been fairly quiet, and that's crazy to say somebody that's got 2 wins, was almost going 3 in a row, has been quiet here tonight. But Patrick Trubik has been quiet here tonight. But now he's lining up 3rd on the inside lane on the 2nd row.
Jamie Barkus was, and I'm not trying to correct you too much, but Jamie Barkus was the one going for 3 in a row. But Patrick Trubik just won last week. So, you know, that still goes along with what you said. I mean, he won last week, and yet we're talking about him as being quiet during this race, even though he's the points leader. So, yeah, he's been in some trouble, unfortunately, but he's worked his way back, and with about 55 laps to go, he's right back near the front where he needs to be at the end.
And to Jamie Barkus and Patrick Trubik, I promise you, I'll get it figured out pretty soon. I really will.
I struggle with it sometimes too. I've just broadcasted them enough to kind of know now off the top of my head, but it takes some time to get used to. That's for sure.
Either way, he's really, really fast. He's been kind of quiet here tonight, and he's worked his way up to the front now.
Jason Warren trying to battle back here. He's in the 6th position, passing Jesse Necula, and he's able to get past him there. Scotty Stevens in front of him, trying to pass now Patrick Trubik on the inside, and Kieran Church, who we were wondering if he was up to pace. He's in 3rd, and he looks just
Sexton
fine.
is loose.
Oh,
Sorry
no.
to interrupt you. He is loose. I don't know if he
Oh,
saved
no. Sorry about that. And
No, you're okay.
That's big front end damage, I believe, to Patrick Trubik. Oh,
Joshua
yeah.
got loose and just tried to save it, and just he saved it, but it took people behind him also.
Patrick Trubik falling back to 6th with a lot of damage there, and Jason Warren, he's gonna kind of the best situation out of that wreck was for him because he's up to 4th now and still has a chance to try to go win this race after leading early. But Garrett Kinder, your leader right now, and Kieran Church. We saw him run away with the lead earlier, possibly on fresher tires. So we're going to see now on even tires what he has here in 2nd. 8/10 currently back, and Scotty Stevens threatening right now.
So I think that damage on the 20 machine, what is the 18 machine of Church, I think that damage is affecting him a little bit on the little end, meaning coming out of the corner. I think he might be down on just a little bit of engine power.
Caution is back out. Josh Lokenvents, man, what an up and down race for him. He was involved in a wreck early, and then he was back in the top 5, and unfortunately caught up in another wreck. As I think it's another case of someone bouncing off the wall, getting out of the turn.
Just shoots him off like a pinball. And like you said, an up and down night. That is Bristol in a nutshell right there.
I believe there was even more contact. Man, look at the front end of Jesse Necula. Let's see. I want to see if anybody else. I heard some more contact. Oh. Let's go along here and see. Oh, man. Mickey Isaac, Ray Page, nowhere to go. I think someone else got caught up in that as well.
when he was spinning like that, he got lucky that he dodged that inside wall off pit lane right then. But unfortunately, car had so much momentum when it was spinning like a top hat that it came right back up in the racing line with them guys nowhere to go. That's a product of what we said all night. I mean, once one car gets sideways here, starts wrecking the racing group, there's not a whole lot of room, not a whole lot of places to go.
Garrett Kinder, who has been really consistent this season, third in points with no victories, and he's in line here to try to get that, but still 45 laps to go, or 46 laps to go. So still a lot of time left for anything to happen for the lead, but Kinder, what I meant, when I go back to when I said he's been consistent this year, has just always consistently put himself at least in the top 5, top 10, and tonight up near the lead really all night in the top 3, and when it most matters right now in that lead spot, but he does have competition with Kieran Church and Scotty Stevens behind him. I believe Jason Warren 4th. Yeah, Jason Warren's 4th, and Joshua Sexton 5th behind him. So still a lot of competition, not over yet for Garrett, but just needs 45 more laps to go his way.
Garrett, I think you can make a case saying that he's had the dominant car all night. He hasn't checked out like, say, Church did in the 20. And, yeah, Jason Warren, he led a lot of laps in the first couple of runs. Sorry, I hit my microphone. But Garrett has been the one constant all night. He's been up top 2, top 3 all night, and he's actually held on to his lead for a good portion of this race now, ever since he got a hold of it.
Hey, Kinder was like I think at a 0.8 second lead over Kieran there. So I think if he can have a good jump on these restarts and get some longer green flag runs here to the end, I think he can build that gap that you're mentioning he hasn't been able to. I think he can if he gets the run to do it. So the closer we get to the end, the more aggressive drivers are going to get, and the more likelihood that we'll get a caution. So, and I think everybody on the track knows that. It's just here at Bristol, such tight quarters, and the closer you get to the finish, the more aggression. And unfortunately, with that aggression comes more wrecks and more cautions.
You're exactly right. And at this point, like you mentioned, Garrett Kinder, all he has to think about and worry about is he just wants to get good restarts. He wants to be able to clear that 20 machine, 18 car on every restart. If there's one more, if there's 10 more, it don't matter. He wants to have a good jump on the restart.
Pace car going to pull off. Now it's up to Garrett Kinder, and he's off immediately. The green flag is out. We've seen kind of the lead car do that a lot tonight. Pull off immediately as soon as the pace car goes down. The green flag is out, and right now the battle on for second.
I was watching Scotty Stevens in the 53. He drove it in really, really deep right then, hoping to clear Church on the outside, but he's just not able to actually get that run. We've hit on it all night. Just cannot get that run on the inside to create enough momentum to clear that car.
As Scotty Stevens now kind of falling back, unfortunately, on that inside, just not able to find a hole. Jason Warren, at this time of the race, we saw earlier, Mickey Isaac specifically, be nice around like lap 50 and kind of give the spot to somebody who closed the door that maybe shouldn't have. You're not going to see that on lap 160. If a driver thinks he has that spot, he's going to fill that hole, whether you try to take it or not. And if you take it, that can cause a wreck. So got to be very careful at this stage of the race, knowing that everybody's going to try to get everything they can.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers, they do give and take for a majority of the race. But we're about 40 laps to go on a short track, and we've hit it on it all night. These laps, they click away fast on green flag runs. You got to take whatever you can get, especially this late in the race.
Garrett Kinder, nice jump on that restart, has a 0.3 lead there over Kieran Church, about 3 or 4 car lengths. And Jason Warren, here he comes. He's in third, slowly and steadily moving towards that lead, but the laps are ticking down, and with how tough it is to pass, he might need another restart. We'll see, though. He definitely has one of the top cars. We'll see if he has the car, though.
Garrett Kinder, though, just hitting back on him again. He has drove a masterful race. He's kept that car clean, and he's kept it up in the front the whole time. He's made good pit calls, pitting with the pack. He hasn't shuffled himself back, and it's proven right now why that works, because he's actually leading this race and got a little bit of separation between second. Not a huge gap, but enough to be somewhat comfortable right now.
Here comes Kieran Church, though. He has closed that gap, and he's trying to go get that lead. He's using that middle lane, and it looks like it may be a little faster right now.
I wanted to say it a while ago, but then he switched it up. It looked like he's running almost like the diamond effect here, where he's cutting down pretty low on exit as Jason Warren gave him a shot on the entry right there.
Yeah, Jason. I believe that Kieran had to check up, and Jason checked up. Scotty Stevens bumped Jason Warren in to Kieran Church, and that's what happened there.
Okay, that's a good saving by those two drivers that got a hit. I just saw Jason Warren. I was wondering how he closed that gap in so fast. Yeah, Scotty Stevens must have gave him a pretty hard shove. You got to be careful doing that here. These cars are on the edge, especially up on the wall.
Kieran definitely looks faster right now, but I don't know how many times we can mention it tonight. It doesn't matter how fast you are. If you're on the same set of tires, that inside's going to be insanely hard to pass with. So we're gonna have to see how creative Kieran gets here at the end of this race to try to pass for that lead if he can.
He's definitely looking really strong right now, and I saw Garrett Kinder actually kind of use Kinder's line right then. But you see, some corners he's going up high, but then other corners he enters high, but then exits really low, just drawing like a diamond almost around the track, and that's allowing him to have the most straight line speed. But it comes at a cost, because you're going to be using that right front more to try to turn that car to get it straight off the corner like that.
William Griffith just passed Patrick Jerbick. He has that front end damage that you see there after an incident on the last green flag run, and the caution is out. Chuck Phelps with a lot of damage, and he's slow in the apron. As we'll come back live to you here and see what
Garrett
happened.
Kinder is elected to go down pit road, and Church is staying out.
Oh, wow.
And Jason Warren pulls off very, very late. I think he is good, though. He did not hit the cone.
Wow, a lot of people pit, too. Like, that would have worked out maybe, but, I mean, more than half of the lead lap pit. But there's 5 people who stayed out, and maybe that's enough of a buffer to protect maybe Kieran Church and Jason Warren up here who will be in the lead. They're going to have 3 people behind them as a buffer.
I don't know, Zach. We've seen how much faster these fresh tires actually are on the course of the entire run. If they could have had some more cars stay out, maybe, but I don't know if essentially 2.5 rows of cars, if that's going to be enough or not. But we shall see with about 25 laps to go.
I think we also got to think about, and there's no really way to tell because we haven't been able to keep track of it, but tire sets. You have 4 of them in this series. I'm not sure any of these drivers could have really used them up that quickly to not have any right now, but maybe they did, and they don't have any tires to fall back on right now, and they just had to stay out.
It's going to be interesting. This is when stuff starts getting shaked up, races do, because strategy comes in, and another wreck could possibly happen. You never know. You got guys that's going to be a little bit faster than the guys on older tires, the ones that took fresh tires, and you got to be patient with them guys on the old tires because just like you yourself, they're racing as well, so they're trying to get everything they can as well.
This is going to be one heck of a race to the end with we're coming to 25 laps to go, 26 laps to go right now. So we'll see. We'll see if that row and a half of cars is a big enough bumper or a buffer. Sorry, not bumper, but a big enough buffer to those fresher tires. I think I'm half and half. I'm agreeing with you, and then I'm also thinking, well, maybe it's enough. But you see, those front 2 cars, they have 3 cars behind them before it gets to Garrett Kinder. So we're only going to find out if that's enough cars when we go back to racing here. And it looks like we're going to go back racing with, I believe, 24 to go.
And you hit on it a little bit earlier. These guys that stayed out, they got to be really careful not to spin the tires right on this restart. They're not going to have the grip level when they just gun it on the restart like these other guys will. But they do have heat in their tires, so they might be okay for the first few laps. But I think over the next 20 laps or so, I think these fresh tires are going to pay off. But we're going to see. We're going to find out in about 1 lap here, I think.
Yep, we're going back racing here to 24 laps to go to the finish here at Bristol Motor Speedway. If you tuned in after we explained the title of the race, Warren's driver training, that has to do with the last Xfinity race we ran here at Bristol where he wrecked on lap 1. Made it a lot farther this race. He's here on with 25 laps to go, and the green flag is out. Kieran Church off to a good lead. We'll see how long it lasts, though, as Garrett Kinder behind Brandon Wallace. He's kind of stuck there right now, but he's going to continue. He's going to go to the bottom, and he's just clear of Josh Hall. So those fresher tires now up to 4th. And we are 3 wide on the front stretch.
That never worked. Scotty Stevens been a little, I can say this because he's a teammate, but he's being overly aggressive right now. I'm really surprised that worked out how it did.
Garrett Kinder, the first car on fresher tires. So he's the first to get to these older tires, and you just see really how much. Oh, and we have a wreck. Caution's out. Big wreck in turn 1. And the guys with fresher tires did not want to see that. They want to see as many green flag laps as they can in order to try to get to him and pass him. But this does pull them closer together. And, Scotty Stevens and Brandon Wallace get together there.
Scotty got lucky not to be wrecked earlier, just a lap ago, really. And luck ran out then. I think he just tried to clear.
I think that was
net code. It looked like net code.
Yeah, that was net code.
Now, granted, they may have touched after the net code, but that's net code. That's a tough way to go out after 180 something laps.
Yeah, absolutely nothing there turning them, except net code and air. So. And then a bunch of drivers caught up in it. Clint Reist, Jamie Barkas, Patrick Jubik maybe. And that is going to bring these cars on fresher tires. Garrett Kinder, he made a pass over 2 cars, I believe. I believe he restarted. I think he restarted 6th. So he made 2 passes and that run. And it's going to be an even shorter run to the finish now. But he's going to be right behind, I think, actually, Jason Warren.
Jason Warren just
down pit road. Okay.
I was very, very curious to see that. I thought maybe he's just going to fake it and see if maybe he get somebody to bite, but he actually did it.
Maybe he saw just how fast Garrett Kinder was and decided to pit, but it's going to work out a lot better for Kinder than it is for Warren, because Kinder restarted 6th, and it looks like Kinder restarted 6th, and Warren looks like he's going to restart 11th. So. He's going to be on fresher tires than a lot of these drivers now, but in kind of a worse position than Kinder was.
Church didn't like seeing that either, because that was another buffer car that he had in between him and the fresh tires coming, and now the fresh tire lining up right behind that 20 machine. Yeah,
Garrett Kinder and Joshua Sexton right there, definitely in a good situation right now with 18 laps to go. Just they don't want to see any quick cautions, because for the first couple laps when you fire off, you're able to stay out ahead. But once those tires start to build up heat, that's when those fresher tires really start to gain their advantage. So no quick cautions when you're in that 76 or 051 car. So Kieran Church and William Griffith, the 2 remaining cars on older tires out there.
Yeah, if you're sitting on the front row on older tires, what you want to see here, you just want to see a caution fest at the end of this race. Yeah, you would love to race it out, but we've talked about it so much, Zach. We call a lot of races together now. These league races, all these leagues we call, they're so competitive that you'll take a win any way you can get one. Granted, you don't want to go out there and wreck somebody to win, but in a case like this, you want to win any race you can. In Bristol, this is a very popular track to a lot of people, and a lot of people love this track. I love winning here, so I'm sure everybody else does as well.
All right, here we go. We're lined back up. 17 laps to go. 16 when we go back to racing. Kieran Church, your leader. The green flag is out. A nice jump for him. That's going to get him out a little bit ahead of these fresher tires, and William Griffith right behind him on older. There is a race going on between the fresher tires, though. Garrett Kinder and Joshua Sexton. Whoever can win this race is going to be in the better position to go take that lead away from the older tires. So the race for the lead, really, right now, may be in this third position, because if Joshua Sexton can clear Kinder, he can go past these two older drivers and be in the lead.
I think the 12 machine's kind of holding up Josh on the exit a little bit, just being on them older tires. And you see there's one person loving this right now, and that's Church in the lead.
Absolutely.
He got a great restart. He kind of changed up the pace a little bit on the restart. As you see Joshua Sexton, he just gets picked by that slower car right now. And it's not really that William Griffin's even any slower. He's another fast driver. It's just in 4 fresh tires versus 4 old ones.
And that was well executed by Kinder to kind of set that pick. And, they're wrecking behind him. Jason Warren, he went and took fresher tires, and that put him in this trouble, and it collects him. I don't know if he was the start of it or collected in it. Oh, wow. He actually, it might have been.
Risk.
I'm not sure. Here, we'll take a look at this. Oh, yeah, he gets he gets loose off the turn and accidentally, just comes up onto the track and big contact. So Warren.
That's the big one we talked about earlier. That's it right there.
He goes and gets tires and just trying to be aggressive and gets loose out of the turn, and that'll end his night most likely.
That's a tough break. And you take that risk to go back there in what I call the hornet's nest, and that's not degrading anybody. It's Bristol. It's short track. We're racing. Stuff's going to happen. There's a lot of cars in front of Warren when he pitted right there, and that's more of an opportunity for somebody to get wrecked, or you get wrecked yourself.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe he got caught up in a wreck, but he got loose there. He was trying to pass the 81 of Josh. I believe it was the 081 of Josh Hall, and I think he clipped the apron a little bit, and that got him loose out of the turn. And then in the middle of the front stretch, he got loose even more and wrecked.
Yeah, it's just a tough break. He tried to gamble and make a different pit strategy call, and just ultimately it don't look like it paid off. And then there's other times where it would pay off. So that's what keeps us coming back here every week, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. The racing, the difference in tracks, the pit strategy that you got to deal with every single week in, week out. It's just the awesomeness of racing, really. Just everything you have to deal with in terms of racing other drivers, racing the track, if it's that tough of a track, because you hear that sometimes. Some tracks you race the people around you, and then some tracks you race the track itself. Like I believe that's what they say mainly about Darlington. You got to race the track before you race other people, because the track will sneak up and bite you. And that can happen at Bristol too. I mean, we just saw, again, one of the better drivers in the league get loose on his own, and it just happens. It's Bristol. It's tough, and he'll move on to. I actually don't know where we're heading next week. I saw the schedule, but I don't remember.
Maybe?
Yeah, Atlanta. So, I mean, that's an easier 1.5 mile track. While the track does eat up your tires, it moves out of the tough half mile to 1 mile tracks. We've been to Milwaukee. Now, Bristol, we were at Rockingham. I mean, those are just tough tracks to race at. And we finally go to Atlanta, where you can maybe open it up a little bit more and be a little bit more comfortable.
I definitely second Rockingham being a tough track. That was the last race I ran in this series, and was running in the top 5 and made a terrible pit call and ended up biting a bullet because of it.
Well, the top 10 right now on the lead lap, Brandon Wallace, the last car on the lead lap. And we are getting back lined up. We're going to go back racing here with 7 laps to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Or no, maybe not. I thought they were about to line up. I can't see the pace car. There we go. Okay. Garrett Kinder going to line up on the outside of Kieran Church, with Joshua Sexton behind Kieran.
Something to watch is, Zach, we haven't seen the second place guy really fire off and stay nose to nose with the first place car yet. So if Church can get a good restart right here, I mean, he's been tough all night, even with that damage. So it's going to be interesting to see here.
Green flag is out. A nice jump from Church, and he wants to see these guys in second and third battle as much as they can. But Kinder going to get clear of Sexton quickly, and now come to 6 laps to go this time around. Garrett Kinder on those fresher tires is going to try to get to Kieran Church here. And Kieran in the wall.
Oh, no. And then Garrett got into him just a little bit, not expecting to check it, but that's going to open the door for Garrett to take the lead. Coming to 4 laps to go, 5 laps to go here.
Church going to fight back on the outside as much as he can, and Joshua Sexton wants to see them race out. He wants to get past Kinder on the outside. Church giving it everything he can on these older tires on the outside, and he's making it work so far as we are side by side for the lead, coming to 4 laps to go here soon. Church doing a really nice job on that outside, even on older tires.
He's doing a magnificent job. He's on the outside on older tires with a damaged car. Maybe not too damaged, but it's definitely damaged a little bit. We see it. And he just did a brilliant job right there, just fighting his way back and just remaining in the lead spot.
Oh, and wrecking. Oh, no.
That's a tough break for Garrett. He's been so fast all night. I hate to see it happen. And no caution yet, Zach.
Wow, no caution for that. And we stay green. Contact between Sexton and Kinder with 3 laps to go. And that puts Patrick Jerbick, your points leader, into the 3rd position now. And a battle for the lead with 2 laps to go. Sexton's going to take his shot at the inside. On the bottom line to Kiernan Church. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go for Kiernan to collect this victory here in the Xtreme Xfinity Series. Joshua Sexton doing everything he can on the bottom, but it's not going to be enough. Kiernan Church out of turn 4, wins at Bristol.
What a great race by the 20 machine. I hated to see Garrett Kendrick get doored right then off the wall. That's been a topic all night. But I take anything away from the winner right there. And Kiernan Church, that was a great race. I can't wait to speak with him. But heartbreak of a race for Garrett Kendrick. It was a perfect race for the first 199 laps, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, that's just heartbreak for sure. You work 198, 199 laps just to get wrecked and go back to 10th, so very unfortunate.
And I don't want to call it without really knowing for sure, but it didn't look like it was his fault. It looked like Josh, just what we saw all night, just bounced off the wall, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely what it was. We'll hear it from Sexton's point of view, though, with the 2nd place interview. All right,
it's a good-looking car, too.
Kiernan Church, your race winner, and we're going to get him in here. If I can find him. There he is. Hey, Kiernan, Zach, and Tanner in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, gotcha.
Well, you stay out on older tires both times there. We saw Jason Warren that 2nd time go down and get tires after Garrett Kinder did. Were you confident in your car and on that shorter run on older tires?
Let's see, I wasn't that confident when I seen that the new tires came out in 6th. I didn't have any more tires left. When I got in the caution earlier, I had to take tires, so I was down a set compared to everybody else. So I was pretty much committed from that last run when I was chasing down Garrett to when they pitted. So
I tell you, then that answers our question right then, Zach, on if you took fresh tires on that one run. Yeah, Church, we saw you actually jump out to almost a 5-6 second lead at one point. And then, unfortunately, you got tangled up in what looked to be, well, it was lap cars that were racing each other side by side, and they just ended up tangling and causing an accident, and you got into them. I honestly, up in the booth, I thought maybe your night was done after you used a fast repair. Didn't think you had anything left. Was you nervous after that damage when you knew you hit him right with the front of your car?
honestly, I didn't even look at how much damage there was. I just took the tires next pit stop and just went on and prayed to God it had enough horsepower so I can try to at least keep up with those guys.
I mean, you did it tonight. You were quiet in the beginning. Not really quiet, but you just rode around in the beginning, and then before you knew it, you were inching up closer and closer and closer. So, I mean, a great race tonight. Congratulations on picking up the win. This is a tough series to win in. Do you have any sponsors or shout-outs you want to throw out here?
Yeah, I got to thank my team at CGE, Orange Shoe Photography, PMI Pavement Marking, LLC. I got to thank 7Cs, B-Leaf, Phantom GFX, and everybody that puts on this series. It's fun.
Right on, buddy. Well, congratulations again on your win. Great race tonight, buddy.
Thank you.
Congrats, man.
Yeah,
All
we heard it right
right.
there. Zach, he said he was out of tires, so he definitely did pit underneath that one caution for the green flag run where he jumped out.
Yeah, Jason Warren obviously had tires. I think he stayed out because Kieran stayed out. But I did think that maybe at least one of those drivers was out of tires, and Church ended up being out of tires, but it didn't affect him at all. Now we're going to move on to second place, Joshua Sexton. Hey, Joshua, Zach, and Tanner in the booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Well, I know that the end of the race, what happened is definitely not what either of you would wanted. Kind of take us through what happened. Did you maybe get a little tight on exit?
Yeah, I just pushed too hard. I just pushed too hard and hit the wall. And literally when I hit the wall, you could see like my back end popped off the wall and hit Garrett. It's a shame. He had a really good car. We had a good race the whole time. We had a really good race the entire race, and it's unfortunate. Sorry to Garrett for getting caught up in that.
Yeah, man, we saw all night kind of barely any contact to that wall kind of shoots you off. So, I mean, you were racing hard there. I'll ask you one more thing myself, and I'll hand it off to Tanner. Yeah, you mentioned how you guys were kind of all in that top 3, top 4 all night long. I'm not sure if you did get in the lead at all, but just how tough was it kind of in that dirty air of the other drivers trying to run behind them, and how tough was that inside line? I imagine it was pretty tough.
Yeah, if you had the same tires, you really could not get to the inside without really kind of making contact. So, yeah, I think that, as long as you're on the same set of tires, you really couldn't get it by anybody. But luckily, there was a lot of differences in tire strategy, and that helped some of us get back up to the front pretty quickly. So that was pretty fun.
Yeah, Josh. I mean, it was a great race, buddy, and you stayed up. You was just like Garrett Kander and Clint and Jason Warren. Y'all all stayed up in the top 5 for a majority of the race. I got a little nervous when you pitted towards the end of the race. Didn't know if maybe it'd pay off or not, but obviously it did. Zach pretty much hit it on the head, asking the questions he asked. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out here before we send you back to your race team?
Yeah, I just want to thank teammates 5 Kings Motorsports, MF Racing Designs on Facebook. Um, Hop on there, give them a like, do some really awesome paint schemes. Butt Kicker and Rocket Racing. Make sure to put in our 5 Kings promo code and get you a discount. Jump on their sites and get you a butt kicker and some fast setups.
Right on, Joshua. Nice podium finish. That's a good points night for you, and maybe we'll be talking to you next week.
Thank you.
All right, and obviously because of that wreck, it probably wouldn't have happened if that wreck didn't happen. But it doesn't matter to Patrick. I mean, he gets another top 3 finish here tonight. So even when it's not going his way, it's going his way. So we're gonna get him in here and talk to him about that. Hey, Patrick, Zach, and Tanner of the booth. You got a copy?
Sure do. How you guys doing this evening?
I'm doing great, and I mean, I just mentioned it in the broadcast. Even when it's not going your way, it's still going your way. You get a top 3 finish tonight. I mean, I don't know if there was a single car that didn't get caught up in an incident tonight and had to recover, but you always seem to somehow at the end of these races, no matter what happens through the middle or beginning, you always seem to be up here, up near the front. So just kind of take us through your race.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I think you're right. I don't think there were too many cars that didn't take some damage this evening or didn't get wrapped up into something. I just tried to stay consistent. I tried to give a little bit of space, realizing I wasn't the fastest car out there. By giving a little bit of space, that allowed me to avoid a couple accidents, but still got, chewed up in a couple. And I hope everybody that was watching the broadcast this evening liked the drifting performance I put on there towards the end of the race.
Right on, buddy. I'll tell you, Patrick, you and your teammate Barkus, y'all have both been some of the most dominant cars each and every week in here. And I'll be honest, I didn't get to see a whole lot of practice, so I came in a little late. Saw qualifying. Y'all started 9th and 10th. And then, lo and behold, by the end of the race, like Zach said, you find yourself up here in the top 3. So it's another good points night. Coming into the night, is Bristol just not a strong track for y'all, or how you feel about it?
It's never been a strong track for me. My teammate Jamie is much better at it. I think the open qualifying at the beginning of the race kind of threw us off, and we kind of got back in the pack a little bit. And I know he got caught up in some early stuff, and just kind of really ruined his night. But he's much better at Bristol than I am. I was going to be happy to walk away with the top 5. A couple guys got together there at the end, and next thing I know, I was sitting in 3rd place. So, a little luck goes a long ways, I guess, sometimes.
They say it's good to be good, but it's even better to be lucky. And I mean,
Yes,
you were
sir.
both tonight, so you can't complain with that. So another good podium finish, another great points night for you. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out there?
Yeah, as always, G2G Trailers, veteran-owned business run here in Indianapolis. He custom makes any race trailers for anybody's needs out there. And then I got to give a big shout out to Travis Lee Creative, who has been the guy that's designed all our graphics on our cars and everything. And then another great veteran organization, Tracks for Vets, that goes out and helps veterans in need and those with disabilities to get back out and enjoy the outdoors. So got a great group of sponsors, outstanding league to run in. Can't thank you guys enough.
Absolutely, Patrick. And I love hearing the many connections you have with either a veteran ran business or whatnot. So that's pretty cool to hear. And shout out to them guys for doing what they do. And thank you for putting on another fantastic race here tonight, Patrick. Good job.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, that is your top 3 here tonight. I took a quick look at the point situation, and Patrick has now opened it up to 20-point lead over Jamie Barkus, and Garrett Kinder, even with that, if he didn't wreck there at the end, I believe he would have at least tied for second. I'm not sure, but he's now only 7 points behind for second place, so he's closed that gap up to Jamie Barkus. So I'll go ahead and pull up the results, and while I do, last thoughts on tonight's race, Tanner.
Just heartbreak for Garrett Kinder. I mean, we can't harp on it enough. He was the one constant all night, running in the front. Yeah, Jason Warren was up there, Joshua Sexton was up there, but like I mentioned earlier, Garrett Kinder he led a majority of this race and kept his car up front for the majority of the time. And yeah, he got tangled up at the end, but still, he took a top 10 finish tonight with there's about 27 cars out there. So he's going to be upset, but he can't be too upset with finishing top 10 at Bristol. It's a tough track. And just overall, great race by all the guys here tonight, really. Like you said, a lot of cars had a lot of damage tonight, but not very many people disconnected. A lot of people stuck it around and fought through it and put on a good show for us tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight, for tuning in every week to watch these races and root on family members or just friends. Just thank you for tuning in and watching these races that we put on every week. It's a lot of fun to do, at least here from the broadcast booth. And I'm looking forward to seeing these cars next week at Atlanta, where, I mean, I said it before, but that track just eats up tires. So going to be interesting to see the tire management that these drivers are going to have to go through next week. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night for the Cup cars. They'll be at Dover tomorrow night. I don't know how many laps, but yeah, just make sure to tune in tomorrow night for that Cup Series race. Thank you guys for watching tonight. Hope you enjoyed. It's been Zach and Tanner in the booth. Have a good night.